This is Dante's The Divine Comedy, Inferno. Now, as a summary, this part is quite the thriller in some cases. Inferno itself obviously is talking about hell, where we will later go into Purgatorio, the mountain where we can cleanse the soul, until we ascend into heaven. And once we ascend into heaven, we are set there for life, aren't we right? Well, unfortunately, it isn't that easy. Pretty much everyone has a chance to go into hell, but unfortunately for the demons over there, the mountain of Purgatorio is the place where we go ahead and choose to purge our souls. Which is like, you are redeemable, but you either choose to not want to be redeemable, or you just can't take it anymore. Either that, or you just cannot be redeemable. That's why you cannot go to Mount Purgatorio and you go into place of Inferno. But in the end, so here we go. Inferno itself talks about hell. In fact, the whole thing itself is an allegory towards hell. It starts off on a Friday of 1300, and it's not any Friday, it's the evening of Good Friday, and then it ends the book, the end poem itself, at Easter Sunday. All this happens in 1300. We are implying this because, well, he started writing it in 1300. Regardless of what happens, though, Dante himself, will go ahead and try to purge the soul of several things that have happened to him. Dante, put in green here, has went ahead and been through several things. He is accidentally in a dark forest. Since I have a dark background, I'm going to have to use white. Dark forest. And in that dark forest, he realized that he is quite lost, so he keeps wandering around it, until he gets to the base of Mount Purgatorio. But he's not exactly that redeemable. So when he tries to climb it, because he has nothing better to do, a bunch of these animals would go ahead and try to attack him. A lion and something else. It's just three spirits, to be honest. But then again, of course, he is saved by his beloved poet and senpai, Virgil. Normally, I would draw him drawing with a sword, but this guy is a poet, so I'm gonna give him a little pen, which has magical abilities, I suppose. Yeah, this last bit is made up. It's not in the book, but Virgil himself did save him. And then Virgil went ahead and talked to him, Dante, about going to hell, and you better bring some shades. Of course, Dante is quite intrigued and kind of off guard about this, because who wants to go to hell? But Virgil says, this is a mission from God. Your Beatrice has sent me down to go ahead and send you towards hell, so you can explore it and cleanse yourself from all those red stuff on you. In the end, though, this is pretty much how it all works out in the end. It itself is an epic poem full of religious allegory, and we have to go through all 9 circles of hell. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, which goes out. But then technically there's a 10th part, the outer layer, the outer part of hell, but that part isn't exactly considered to be hell, more like a waiting room. And we have this map to tell us about this, but unfortunately I downloaded the entire map of his world, so here we go. Let's start off with hell. We can see all the 9 concentric circles. And when I flip it upside down, here we go. Here, welcome to hell. We start off at the top part. As soon as, we get the crossway into hell itself, there's finally somewhere that we can finally start our journey into. After a little shenanigans with Dante going ahead, being led with Virgil to cross the river into hell, we realize that, well, the boatman itself isn't quite the most friendliest guy out there. Of course, the river itself is quite looking like a normal river, but the boatman's like, halt. You are not a dead soul. That one, at least that one isn't. I cannot go ahead and take him on to you. We are from a mission from God. Okay, fine. I'm gonna have to take him in. I'm sorry. While the boatman seems to have chilled, well, everyone else, the other souls, are like, ooh, a living being, living being, living being, living being, living being. And Dante passes out. When he finally wakes up, he's at the gates of hell, and outside the gates of hell is all the great philosophical thinkers, which I was going to have to draw in blue, so here we go. Unfortunately for these guys, though, they are great and good souls. They haven't sinned at all, but they were unfortunately born before the time of Jesus Christ, who came down and taught everyone Christianity. As a result, they are stuck down here eternally. Oh, the big J himself, after his death, came down here and took some worthy souls with him up there, but unfortunately for the rest of them, they weren't chosen. Here you can see great figures such as Socrates and even Julius Caesar. And well, Dante himself was quite a big fan of Julius Caesar, but unfortunately for him, though, he was born before Christ, so he cannot go to heaven, unfortunately for him. And now they finally enter the gates of hell, where we go ahead and enter the first layer of hell. Now in this first layer of hell, we find exciting things. We find that this is quite the least intimidating place. We just find out this is just some of those places for petty things. You go ahead, you have to wade through mud, but as you go deeper down, I'm not going to summarize all the parts of hell for you. Then what's the point of reading the book? You go ahead and find things such as people who have went ahead and lusted for each other, so now they have to go ahead and, well, go inside excrements, like rains of excrement. Others are put into a blood-boiling river where they go ahead and try to push each other down for some of the sins they do. As you go far into the river, some of them are completely submerged. Others can at least bob their head up a little bit. Lucky people. And of course, the more traditional hell tradition, you are tied up to a torture chamber and you are set on fire for eternity. This is obviously not exactly the best thing that can happen to you. And then we have apparently the worst punishment in hell is this. It's a bunch of ice, and everyone is locked into it, except their heads. Everything down their heads is locked into it. And then, in the middle of hell, resides Satan. You might think that Satan is one of the best people of all, like the leader and the corrupter of hell after his fall from heaven. But no, he is also stuck in ice. He can't move around the ice. He has these two heads to help do stuff. But other than that, there's not much else that we can do about him. They bite people too. And after they bite a lot of these people, we realize that, hey, this isn't exactly the best thing that you can do. Satan himself is just gnawing on the three worst people in the world. And when Dante sees it, and when Virgil shows Dante this, he's like, obviously, we're going to feel like this is quite anticlimactic. We know Satan as the entire body of hell, the ruler of hell. But then Virgil gives the truth bomb. Even though it seems like the demons are the ones who rule this place with the monsters, what actually says the final say on hell is heaven itself. Heaven still controls hell in every aspect of it. And all the demons you see here, they're basically fallen angels. They've been to heaven, they just don't deserve it anymore. And now it's time that you've seen all this, let's go back up. Or I guess in their case, down, all the way back up to Mount Purgatory. Nice. Where they would eventually go into Paradiso. But until then, we are stuck on this section, which I haven't read yet. So I'll see you soon. Until then, I hope you guys had a fine time reading Inferno. Until then, Shohana, peace. Bye-bye.